Pitt Hegseth is definitely going to jail, but Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, won't be joining him. You might be saying comparing a war criminal to a financial CEO is a bit of a stretch, Mia. Stay with me on this. Pitt Hegseth is actively committing war crimes in the Southern Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela because he is following every single order that his big orange daddy is telling him, thinking, I'm just going to say I was following orders, not a valid defense. You can look up Nuremberg. Jamie Dimon, on the other hand, put thought into what his company did, what they were tied to, because Jamie Dimon is a known Trump supporter and defender, but JP Morgan did not donate to the Trump ballroom because he said, you know what, future administrations may not look too favorably on folks like us. It could be seen as a bribe, and you know what? He's not wrong. And side note, how optimistic of him. Now, I know Jamie Dimon might be an absolute turd muffin of a human being, but he's not stupid. He wants to keep his reputation intact, his fortune intact, and the reputation of JP Morgan intact. Wow, look at all of that critical thinking going to work, whereas Pitt Hegseth doesn't think he's going to have to face any accountability whatsoever. I have bad news for him. Only Trump technically has immunity in the United States. Hegseth does not, and I was following orders, didn't work at Nuremberg, and it's really not going to work at Nuremberg Part 2. And that day will come. It will come, people. It may take some time, but it will get here.
The Washington Post has reported that Pitt Hegseth ordered the killing of unarmed civilians in the water who had survived one of the boat strikes in Venezuela. The Senate Armed Services Committee announced that they are investigating those claims. It's a bipartisan investigation. It had the GOP chair and a Democratic senator. And so did the House. The House Armed Services Committee is doing the same thing, and it is also bipartisan. So questions, can Pitt Hegseth be charged with war crimes? Kind of depends on what you mean. If you're talking about international crimes like the ICC, The Hague, that's not going to be anything. We are not a member of the ICC, which means he won't be arrested here and sent there. He could be arrested in a member country and sent to The Hague, but we have legislation that if an American citizen is arrested and sent to The Hague, we can send in the military to go get them, which would certainly happen. So I would not expect anything to happen there. So what can the investigations do? Same thing that happened to Pam Bondi. Remember when she went before Congress and refused to answer any questions because she didn't want to perjure herself? She did that because she knows that these investigatory committees can refer criminal cases out to the DOJ if they think the law has been broken, which they're obviously not going to do in this administration, but they could do it in the next one, using whatever evidence they find in these investigations. But perhaps more importantly, at least in my opinion, is that he can be impeached. The process for impeaching a cabinet member is exactly the same as the process for impeaching the president. So it would just require a majority vote in the House and 2/3 vote in the Senate to remove. It's really tempting to want to see him in jail, right? And I totally get that, and I think he should be in jail. But I think the thing that we should focus on is trying to get him out of the job first, because the jail part's probably going to have to wait for a new administration. But the reason why this matters so much is because these investigations are bipartisan. They are Republicans that chair these committees. They've probably seen the polling just like we have, that 70% of the country does not approve of what we're doing in Venezuela. So this is just yet another example of Republicans in Congress starting to get a little itchy about this administration. And we want to encourage that every time it happens.
Welcome back to my show commentary. My name is Ransom Joseph. I hope we all are doing good anywhere we are watching this video. The US military carried out a strike on a vessel off the coast of Venezuela that was accused of drug trafficking. Not only that, a major report alleges that Hegseth ordered a second strike to kill survivors, meaning some people who have already been incapacitated or trying to surrender might have also been targeted. While we dive straight into the video or different clips concerning this topic about what people have to say in this particular situation, if you are just coming across this video for the first time, you are coming across our channel for the first time, please do well to help us hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Follow us for more interesting stories, for more interesting content like this to pop up your screen about what is happening in the country. Like and share the video to help the channel out. You're welcome.
Pitt Hegseth is going to jail. And when it finally happens, I want everybody to come back to this video and just say, you were right. A couple of things are taking place. Congress is finally deciding to do their job of oversight for this administration that has ignored the rule of law, be it domestically or internationally. And they are looking into what the Department of Defense did with these boats that they attacked in the Caribbean. They're asking them, can you prove that these were drug traffickers? And even if they were drug traffickers, the penalty for that is not war. It's not targeting these boats with military action. denying them due process. So because Pete can't verify if these were even drug traffickers and these possibly were civilians, and it clearly appears that he decided to eliminate any witnesses, because if people lived, if there were civilians that lived to tell the story and say no one on that boat was a drug trafficker, these were all civilians, then the lies that they consistently tell you to demonize Latinos would make no sense. If these were civilians and the United States government, the Department of Defense, were targeting civilians that weren't even coming to the United States. They were just doing their jobs fishing. It also explains why Trump is trying to invade Venezuela. The Venezuelan government can gather evidence on these people that were killed by the United States government in these airstrikes on these boats, talking to the families, talking to the industry that they were attached to, proving in the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court that these people were just civilians that the United States killed for no fucking reason. So of course Trump is going to do everything in his power to try to get a loyalist into that office, because that will kill any investigation done to unmask the truth. And this is not even me ignoring the nuances of what's happening in Venezuela, because that man in charge of Venezuela is also targeting civilians. You know, I don't believe in these black and white arguments that a lot of people online believe in. There are nuances to these things that should be examined. So what's currently happening in Congress is a bipartisan inquiry into Pitt Hegseth in the Department of Defense is taking shape. And what will end up happening is Donald Trump will probably fire him and he will go to jail. He will go to jail. It might not happen now because Donald Trump will do everything in his power to protect him, but it will definitely happen in the future. Just give it some time. Just give it some time. All of these people, a lot of these people attached to the Trump administration are going to jail. That includes the ICE director. That includes the Homeland Security director. All of these people are going to jail.
Well, now we know why that group of 6 congresspeople made the video reminding our servicemen and women that they should not obey illegal orders. We also know why the Trump administration has responded so very strongly to that video. We know because what actually has been happening on those boat strikes has come to light. And the reports about the U.S. boat strikes off of Venezuela, they're as serious as they come. We also know that a group of former top military lawyers, former JAG attorneys, publicly stated that if the reporting is accurate, then Defense Secretary Pitt Hegseth has committed murder, war crimes, or both. These just aren't commentators. They aren't just people on the internet espousing their opinions. These are the people who used to advise the military on the laws of war. They are literally experts in this field, and they're responding that if the reports are true, that he ordered, quote, kill them all, and the military actually did carry out a second strike on survivors who were in the water, then under international law, this is not acceptable. Because once someone is incapacitated, injured, fleeing, or swimming after an attack, they cannot legally be unalived. The Geneva Convention could not be clearer. You cannot order no survivors. You cannot target survivors who pose no immediate threat. And unaliving incapacitated people is explicitly banned as a war crime. Even if the U.S. believes the boat was smuggling drugs, drug enforcement is not armed conflict. You still have to follow due process and minimize harm. A double-tap strike on survivors cannot be justified under any legal framework, according to the JAG attorneys. That's why these former judge advocate generals that were so clear about what they said, that if these facts are true, this wasn't drug interdiction. This was unlawful unaliving and potentially a prosecutable war crime. This is not partisan. This is not the left versus the right. This is the law of armed conflict. And these JAG attorneys, they've been studying it most of their life. And they have told us that this, if the reporting is accurate, is very alarming. We can't ignore this. We can't ignore this and allow the person who is running our defense department to continue to make what, if reporting is right, are absolutely illegal orders. We have to demand better. Go love your neighbor.
You know, all these extrajudicial killings, these boat strikes in the Caribbean where the United States is killing people that they're claiming are a part of Venezuelan gangs. Washington Post just dropped that the Secretary of War, Pitt Hegseth, ordered no survivors. No survivors. And so SEAL Team 6 killed 2 men who were hanging to boat debris. Nobody who says no survivors is doing anything good. No survivors is like saying no witnesses. Because you can't let survivors be fishermen, or the story be something different than what you say. The NPR was reporting that an admiral with the U.S. Southern Command retired last month over these boat strikes, saying that they were wrong. 83 people have been killed in 21 strikes. I don't know how you get your news or what you've been hearing about these killings, but the UN itself is saying that these breach international law, and everybody, all of us in the States, should be absolutely outraged. No survivors. Fuck.
Pitt Hegseth is going to jail when this is all over, and so is anybody else who followed his illegal orders. He ordered the offing of everybody on a boat that they were surveilling in the Caribbean, even though he has no proof that they were doing anything other than fishing, and he could release the tapes, but is refusing to. Both Democrat and Republican senators said that the Senate Armed Services Committee will be investigating his boat strikes, especially after giving the order to have 2 survivors stop surviving. And the only thing that military and legal experts are debating is whether or not Pitt Hegseth is going to be going to a military jail or your good old-fashioned federal prison. Because these strikes may or may not have been part of an actual war, because they're just bypassing Congress and doing whatever they want. Either way, he better brush up on his bathtub gin recipe, because he's gonna need it.
Well, Pitt Hegseth has committed vile war crimes, and our military leadership have now committed vile war crimes, and members of our military, including SEAL Team 6, have now committed vile war crimes. What do we do about it? This is Old Texas Paul. Hope your coffee is as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Forgive me. I'm going to talk fast through this. I sat in this chair and I warned you they were going to remove our top military leadership and that our country had fundamentally changed. They put Undersecretary Anthony Tata in place for this very purpose. Admiral Mitch Bradley did this. He did this. He is a MAGA general. He's not, pardon me, MAGA admiral. He is a MAGA admiral. I don't call him an American admiral. He's a MAGA admiral. Listen to this. Pitt Hegseth ordered no survivors in this attack on these drug boats. Admiral Mitch Bradley made sure that happened. They fired a missile at that first boat, and they destroyed it, which was a war crime in and of itself, because this is a policing action of a crime that does not carry the death penalty. But they murdered them anyways. After the smoke cleared, there were 2 survivors floating in the water. Then they failed to give quarter, which is a massive war crime, which has dangerous repercussions for our troops all over the world. We lose our Geneva Convention's protections because of things like this. We do. This was horrible. They fired another missile at that boat when they saw there were survivors, because Admiral Bradley said, SecDef said, and Secretary of War said, no survivors, kill them all. That's what we are now. That is what I was talking about when I told you we are a fundamentally different country now. What do we do about it? And why is this not a death penalty crime? Because, folks, look, I want you to Google cartel human broth. I can't even tell you the things that these cartels do to force these people to be mules. And we know this. Our own drug agencies know this. Cartel human broth. B-R-O-T-H. Google that. I can't put it in this video. It'll get taken down. They forced these people to do this, and we murdered them. We murdered them. Look, this is what we do about it. We have to be very careful. These people are very scared now. They have committed war crimes and they know it. We have to be very careful. In Tennessee 07, right now, there's an election. Afton Bain, elect her. Why? Because Republicans have broken. They have broken from MAGA. We've got a Republican senator that is now opening an investigation into these war crimes. We have other Republicans that are resigning, other Republicans that are refusing to run again. If you flip Tennessee 07, that was supposed to be a layup for Republicans, those rats they will flood off the ship. Then in the midterms, we take more seats. Do it.
A group of military lawyers has just decided that Pitt Hegseth and anyone who has followed Pitt Hegseth's orders are now murderers, or they're war crimes, depending if we are actually at war with the cartels. Now, that's yet to be seen, but either way, this law group is saying that these people should and could be prosecuted and serve jail time for following through on Pitt Hegseth's orders. And that doesn't just include the people who committed the strikes. It includes Pitt Hegseth himself for sending the order. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Would you like to see Pitt Hegseth thrown in the brig? It's about time we had accountability for government overreach. It's about time we had accountability for a government that thinks that they can just do whatever they want, even when it comes to murdering innocent people on the other side of the planet. This comes on the heels as Donald Trump is literally threatening land strikes in Venezuela. And this situation is quickly spiraling out of control. So I think it's about time the DOJ step up, which I don't think Pam Bondi will do, but it's about time that somebody in the legal world steps up and puts a stop to all of this before it gets too serious and too many people get hurt. My name's Kyle, and I'm running for Congress in the 2nd District of Connecticut. Please follow along. Please go to my website, kylegauk.com. You can sign up to donate, volunteer, or for the free weekly newsletter. And as always, if you made it this far, thank you. I love you, and we'll definitely talk soon.
Donald Trump cannot pardon somebody being impeached. It is clear in the Constitution the pardon power is all-powerful except in the instance where somebody is being impeached. Donald Trump can't block an impeachment. Donald Trump can't forgive an impeachment. So, as the House and Senate bipartisan armed services committees proceed forward with their investigations into Pitt Hegseth, if they impeach him, which is what we all should be pushing for, and they remove him from office, and they bar him from ever holding a federal position ever again, Donald Trump can do nothing about it. The president cannot pardon somebody that has been or is being impeached. What Trumpy boy can do is he can issue a pardon that prevents the Department of Justice from pursuing criminal charges for Pitt Hegseth for his murdering of civilians in the Caribbean, for his ordering of those killings. And we'll never see any sort of accountability on an international stage because we have laws in this country that say, hey, if a U.S. citizen is picked up by, say, the ICC, the International Criminal Court, and is hauled off for trial there, well, we'll use our military to return them home. That means we're willing to be the world police. We're willing to claim that we are so high and mighty and morally superior. But if somebody here is doing something that should be held accountable internationally, we're not willing to let them be held accountable. And we don't hold them accountable at home. All said and done, the best we can hope for is Pitt Hegseth is removed as the Secretary of Defense due to impeachment and barred from holding any federal office. That is, until a new administration comes in, a new Department of Justice, and hopefully Donald Trump forgets to pardon old Hegseth, and all of a sudden, then we can hold him criminally accountable for the crimes he has committed.
Welcome back, guys, and thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it. This incident raises major and legal moral questions in the sense that the order to kill survivors could have been considered a war crime under international law, and many lawmakers and analysts are seriously calling for investigations. The strike, and especially the alleged orders to kill survivors, could shift U.S. military and security policy towards more aggressive lethal actions against suspected traffickers that might lead to more such operations, which raises global human rights concerns. It can fuel international backlash. Countries like Venezuela may condemn it as extrajudicial killings. It may strain diplomatic relationships, provoke condemnation from human rights groups, and increase tensions. Indeed, Venezuela leadership has already promised investigations. For public discourse and media, this event will likely become a major reference point in debates about U.S. military power, ethics, and war. drug policy versus human rights, making it a hot topic for commentary, analysis, and global attentions. Like I said before, if you're just coming across this video for the first time, I really appreciate you for watching the video, and please help us to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Follow us for more interesting stories and help us share this story to gain more attentions, to get more views, to enlighten people about what is happening in the country. Like and share the video to help the channel out. You're welcome.